Okay, so it's time to put some tread on the track, so to speak. I'm not going to show how to do both sides because they're perfectly identical. What I have done though is I've marked out in red which track pieces that I'm going to use for this. We're going to need spruce C and E to actually do this because there's little bits over here. Now, I tend, as a rule, to start on the largest track piece, which is a C18, and it's going to go along the top here. And then I'm going to get an E13 at the same time, so I can just double check that they're coming exactly here and that I've got no kind of fall over either side. So, get my 18. Wish I could put some music on while this was playing, but I'll end up YouTube copyright process, isn't it? I'll have to get permission for every artist that played in the background, which is a shame. But you know, I'll see how it goes. I better move that water pot out the way because I almost knocked it flying. Problem with having such a small hobby space, I'm kind of crammed with all my painting. Anyway, and here's my E13. Okay, so I'll get these nice and tidied up. Now, this is a really important thing, getting these tidied up properly, because there's no hiding on these because they sit so far high up. Now, I was having a good think actually about, you know, like a comment about the Rogel Dawn tank, how it doesn't follow enough of the design ethos of other vehicles, and I was thinking, yeah, but I need to get hold of one and really do a comparison, because I was thinking about the fact that people are saying, well, the pop-up tracks, as it were, the ones that go above, you know, people say, well, that's not part of the Imperial Guard design ethos, but it is common in the STC designs to see raised up tracks, like with this Land Raider here. So actually, if anything, you know, I'm going to have a really good look at the tank. I'm going to try and get hold of one, and I'm going to try and do kind of like a really, after I've built it, I'm going to do a deep critique. I'm going to compare it to the Space Marine tanks. I'll probably ask if I can borrow a Lehman Russ from someone, or potentially a Baneblade. Yeah, and just basically do a deep comparison of them, really. Right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that when I dry fit these, I'm not, I'm not making sure that they don't hang off anywhere. And you can see as well that getting the glue in the right place is going to be important, otherwise it's going to kind of plop outwards, as it were. Right, so what I've got to do is I've got to get it kind of there, and this is one of the things that I'm worried about here. It's going to be hard to get the glue right where I want it without it leaking away. And you see, I was hoping that I could get the glue right down to there, but it's not gonna. I should have checked that. What I need is it has to kind of hang on these points here, which I don't really like putting glue there. But okay, I'll see how that works. Again, if you're one of those people that likes to sub-assemble certain parts, then it might be a good idea not to glue these tracks on. But I do actually, yeah, I'm gonna glue all my tracks on because I feel like I can get between these. I'm all right on getting between stuff. like that anyway. Okay, now I'm going to start heading clockwise around the tank. So let me find my number 17. Yeah, it's up here. So on C, 17. Yeah, I think normally as a rule I tend to paint my tracks away from the model, but I have promised myself that I'm already being naughty not gluing so much of the other stuff together for this how to build video. It's starting to feel like I need to glue things on, but as a rule I would not advise doing what I'm doing here. I would advise painting the whole thing without the tracks and then popping them on later. It's an easy job. In fact, because I don't want to anyway, I can get my brush in there. I know how to do this. I'm hoping there's a little bit leftover track on this, but my guess is they've given us exactly the amount that we need, because I was quite happy with the Sikaran. I was able to salvage some of the track and make a track hook. Again, just going to do a quick dry fit, make sure I'm happy with the fit. Yeah, it's nice and snug, that. Then I need 2 C16s, so these are the very smallest parts. Start taking the wrong ones off then. Now that this is actually starting to come together, my mind's kind of, you know, doing the kind of old school, right, what did the original Land Raider look like? How close is it to this thing? Yeah, and I'm really trying to kind of do that logic at the moment as I go. Right, these should, yeah, I'm liking this. These fit in really nicely. Yeah, they're not really, you know, they're keeping a nice smooth curve, which I love. I hate it when you're doing tracks on some models and they're just kind of, it's hard to work out exactly where they go. Okay, now I need a C19 over here. Dry fit just to make sure I'm happy with where it's going. Yeah, so yeah, okay, my other E13, so this is the E13 over here. Oh, look at this, this sprue's getting lovely and empty now. Look at it, it's just those last 2 to do when I do the other track. Oh, very nice. I love it when a sprue starts to empty. Get down to the last little bits. Oh, yeah, it's just that lovely feeling, isn't it, when you're getting towards the end of a build. As I said, this whole Age of Darkness kit's already almost together. I've got my 10 Imperial Fists Tactical Marines ready. I just need to build the other 10. I've converted 10 into Despoilers. So I'll need to give into Night Lord Despoilers. C18 again, so that's other C18 over this side. I'm going to do 10 Tactical Marines for my Night Lords, just with bolt guns. I'm going to try and do a bit of that, you know, conversion on them, but probably more just like a little bit of green stuff. My Despoilers were a massive job. I've obviously done videos on bits of them, but basically I just wanted them to be telling a story of basically the Night Lords who have, you know, committed a crime anyway, so you know, sinned against the Legion basically. So I really had to convert them a lot to suggest that basically they've been cast out almost. They're going renegade. Anyway, so I've got 5 Terminators and 20 Marines left to do, and then I can probably start doing a mass paint job on them. Hopefully I can just get my airbrush out and get them painted really quickly, because I really promised myself that as much as I want a wonderful paint job on these, I also promised myself I'd learn to paint quicker, because I can be quite obsessive. I can spend ages, and actually the results aren't that much better than if I just did it quicker and more efficiently. Right, now I need my 20, which is this one here. C20. Still can't find my replacement scalpel blade, so I'm not happy with the cleaning up I'm doing on this at the moment. Right, okay, and then get this C20, and it's going to pop around the back there. So it's a nice quick job this, but as I said, I'm not going to show how to do both tracks because they're basically identical to each other. So there's nothing new really, you're just doing it the other side. Right, C16, get in there now. Last of my C16s that I need for this half. And then finally, just one last C19 over here. And we're on, and that's you know what, that looks really nice, and it's done, and it's quite even, you know, it's well put together. Now the next thing I've got to do is work out where is best to actually attach this. So basically, as I've said in my previous videos, I don't want to attach the upper hull to anything yet. So I'm going to have a think about the lower hull. So now I want to be able to remove this side panel. Now what I will do though is I will go through how this will attach. So if you look on the inside here, you've got 3 proper little joints, and then it joins there. Yeah, now since this panel here is the one that comes off for painting, what I should be able to do is glue this side on, if nothing else, as a starting point. Okay. Okay. And that's locked in there nicely. Okay, I'm going to start letting that dry for a second. Okay, so I just stopped for a second, and then I thought, right, okay, so this other track half, which I've just very quickly put together, how am I going to make sure that I can put this on but still be able to remove this? So logically, I think the best thing to do is think about how it goes on. So it's just very simple, and it just pops on like that. Now I could either do that and try and get my painting into there, but I was thinking actually I could probably add a bit of security to this part now, couldn't I, by just gluing this side here. So I think that's what I'll do. Now fingers crossed, I'm going to do a dry fit of it first to see if my idea is going to work, that I can pretty much finish the build more or less and still give myself access for painting. So if I were to secure it in like that, and then logically when I come to close it up later on, hopefully I should just be able to, you know, slide it in. It does look like I'll be able to do it. Just a bit worried about pushing it too hard at the moment. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock that in place, which as you can see, this kind of just clicks into here quite easily. Yeah. And then that's solid then. Gosh, I'm having to do so much thinking about where I'm going to put stuff on this. It's kind of frustrating. Right, now this is the plan. If I then did that, there we go. That should get the glue into the hole. And then I'm just going to get that part. Probably need to put the glue here more than anything. Try and get it on the underside so it doesn't splodge out. And then pop that on there. Okay, so if I just slide this into here, like so, that holds on there. And then I'm going to get this part. Yeah. And then yeah, I've got a little clip on this side, which is a good place to secure this one. Okay, yeah, looks like that's doing what I want it to do. Now I'm going to have to let that glue for a few minutes, because I'm not convinced that if I just try and put it on straight away, it's not going to knock the thing off. So I won't stop my recording, but I'm just going to pause it for a little bit, probably 10 minutes, let that dry up, and then I'll try and see if I can fit them. Okay, so I was having a think while this was drying about how I can, help make this so I can just kind of push it in later. And the problem is, this is like completely loose in here, then you've got to kind of do quite a bit of manoeuvring to get this into there. So I had a think, and I've realised that I should be able to glue this part onto here, right in there, and then just kind of use it to help further stabilize the structure and to keep things, open but together. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to glue these hearts on here. Ugly, coming out slow now. Let me see if I just got my. I think my glue's dried. Try that again, shall I? Yeah, if I just kind of glue a couple of key points there from this, just double check if there's anywhere else that might be useful to glue. No, I think they're the good points there. So if I glue that there, probably a bit of glue at the top point there as well, just to get it solid, because if I'm going to be moving this around quite a bit, it's going to come off. I really need to get the air into that, don't I? Right. Then looks like I've got a good, probably one more proper point to glue there as well. So it's like a point where a lot of movement will happen. Yeah, so I reckon if I do this, once this dries, I should be able to just slide this part on and off with ease. The problem is that bit there, it keeps on popping upwards, so I'm literally going to have to hold it like this for a few minutes, which means that I'm not going to keep the camera on. I'm just going to pause it for a bit to let this dry. Okay, I feel now that that's starting to glue. Now the next thing I think I need to do is put these on this side, because I've had a bit of a realisation as well that this needs kind of popping downwards to pop this on, doesn't it? So hopefully this will now work exactly as I intend it to. Famous last words here. Here we go. Yeah, it's doing it. Great. Okay, so yeah, you would just put the glue where you need it to, but what I've done as a result of this little play around is, oh, I need to push that side in. Gosh, this is not the best part, is it? This is the hard part, getting this to pop in exactly where I want it to pop in the right place. I've got all the other side perfect, and then this side is just fighting me like crazy. Like, that pops in there. Yeah, so slide it along. They pop into each other. Very good. Okay, and then with a little bit of wiggle. It will go in. There we go. Right. yeah, it's like really difficult to make sure that all the little points go in exactly where they're supposed to go into, but it will go in. You've just got to wiggle it right. Yeah. I remember this was a problem with the other Land Raiders. This kind of last little bit, regardless of how you built it, this last little wiggle to get it all to sit properly as it should do. There we go. Right, so yeah, great. Okay, so that's the solution to making sure that you can build it as much as possible and then be able to still pull it apart so you can paint it later on. Success. Right, so that is the main hull all ready and done. And as I said, I know there's like little gaps there, but that's because it's not been glued properly. But I don't want to glue it because I want to pull it apart for painting. There we go. The next stage is going on to actually all the weaponry, which I will be magnetising. I have every intention on magnetising the whole thing. The only thing I won't be magnetising is probably the sponsons, because there's only one weapon option.